Balarkachelanchitam Chandranandapuram Sadhika Varanam Vairagi Vidam Buddhim Shishidantanidim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Varam Vandetam Subhadam Madhika Sharanam Nyasi Svaram Sridharam Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Vidito Gaudiya Gurvan Vaye Vatobano Riva Prabhata Gagineyo Gauda Sankirtanai Mayavada Timingilo Daragatan Uzzata Jivaniman Krishna Prema Sudabdi Gahana Sukam Pradat Prabhum Tambade Shri Upanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. You ready? Shri Prabhupada Jivanamritam Ki Jai. Shri Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. So Prabhupada Jivanamritam, Chapter 8, Surrender and Humility, Karpanyam, Life Nectar of the Surrendered Souls. Let's see. Bhaktivatsala. Okay, as we did the one by Jagannath. So we're on number 18. It's a shloka by Dhananjaya. Dhananjaya. I can't place. Do you know Dhananjaya, Didi? No. So many different ones. It would be nice to, I guess that would be a chore for Chagi Maharaj or something. She has such wide understanding and access to the Shastras. Okay, so number 18, Srila Guru Maharaj's summary, introduction. A devotee feels disappointed in the improbability of his ever having a slight relationship with the Supreme Lord, who is worshipable by the great gods headed by Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. So as you know, as we've been discussing, as the devotee progresses, his proximity with the Lord, while on the one hand becomes closer, on the other hand, the devotee perceives just how small he is and how vast the Lord is, and how far he is. So it's achintya Veda Veda. It's just we can't understand it. The devotee feels some closeness and some beginning connection with the Lord by dependency, but at the same time, the devotee rather feels very distant and out of touch. So here Guru Maharaj is summarizing, saying that the devotees wonder if they'll ever have a relationship with the Lord. That Lord who is worshipable by these high, great souls like Shiva and Brahma, who they themselves don't have access. So how could we have access? So Shiva Vinichadi Deva Sevya Sva Sanubandha Le Shanabhavanaya Narasyam. Srila Maharaj's Sanskrit. Then from Dhananjaya, a devotee feels, O Lord, the demigods headed by the four-headed Lord of Brahma are engaged in offering their worshipful prayers unto you. The demigods headed by the five-headed Lord Shiva are absorbed in meditation upon you, and the demigods headed by Lord Indra, the performer of 100 sacrifices, are your order carriers. O Lord Vasudeva, who then are we to you? So Dhananjaya is feeling himself really small in connection to the Lord. There's these huge controllers of the universes who are attempting to make connection with the Lord. Shiva through meditation, Brahma through prayer, Indra by sacrifice, and those who follow him by carrying out the orders of the Lord for the administration and the functioning of the universe. These great souls have services connected with the functioning of the universe, and as a result of that connection with the functioning of the universe, they have some, there's some attachment, there's some covering that's there. So they're not 100% pure, but they're always praying, meditating, and engaging in sacrifices to bring themselves closer. But then the devotee is thinking, these great souls, who can we be in relation to them? They're so, they're controlling the whole universe. They're way up there, beyond us. How can we be in any kind of position to approach you? Dhananjaya is feeling that in a genuine way. And I think, to some degree, at times, we all kind of feel this. It may be a mixture of, our own kind of mundane disappointment and feelings of insufficiency, but there's also some real, beginning understanding of what our position is. And, we feel in this way that it's so far and so distant. And, like once when I went with my wife Shileka to see Srila Guru Maharaj, and she had picked out a beautiful, like very soft cotton blanket, saffron, and we gave him that blanket. He was at the front of his porch area on a dais raised up about a foot and a half or 2 feet, sitting there with pillows and things. And I didn't really much see him there, but he was there in the front, facing the front of the temple. And we got to come around and face him as he was looking out, and gave him the blanket. He just looked at us and smiled and rubbed the blanket along his face, smilingly, and said, Krishna is very far, but the devotees are very close. Just so amazing. We just, of course, our hearts were melted. And that was it for as far as any kind of, question of not being, fully connected with Srila Sridhar Maharaj. He just, he brought us into his heart. And so the Vaishnavas do like that. And here Srila Guru Maharaj, even himself, in this sloka is reflecting that, and in his practical life he reflected that. But at the same time, he had such full, deep conviction about the ultimate presence of the Lord and the ultimate mercy of the Lord coming to him through his Guru Maharaj, that, practically we're discussing, the understanding that we've developed within comes out. So with Srila Sridhar Maharaj, what was coming out was, unbelievably deep and beautiful and constantly different, because each sloka is different, each circumstance is different, each situation. And Srila Guru Maharaj was fully conscious of that. So Srila Govinda Maharaj said in that prayer that he can, he can always give something fresh and new, even on the same subject. Because whatever subject it is, it's always situated in a little bit different time and circumstance. And it always, because it's connected with the Absolute, it has, unlimited, variegated meanings. And, as it is looked at it becomes deeper and deeper. And so the pure soul, like Srila Sridhar Maharaj, who is particularly in his service perceptive and understanding, can see all these amazing things. They come to him, not like in a way that's simultaneously present, but in a way that's specifically focused on the particular topic that he's dealing with. Okay, so I should try the Sanskrit to this. Seems so small. I have to get a magnifying glass. I keep forgetting about that. Stavakas tavachatur mukha bhadayo bhavaka hi bhagavan bhavadayaha sevaka shata mukhaya surya vasudeva yada ketada vayam dhananjayasya. So, again, the demigods headed by Lord Brahma engaged in offering worshipful prayers unto you. The demigods headed by five-horned Lord Shiva are absorbed in meditation upon you. And the demigods headed by Lord Indra, the performer of 100 sacrifices, are your order carriers, O Lord Vasudeva, who then are we to you. Dhananjaya. Okay, next, from Prabodhananda Saraswati. Guru Maharaj has a rather long summary. Seeing the Lord's most magnificent descent as Sri Gauranga, who is the bestower of the paramount gift of love divine, the devotee, feeling insatiable desire for the mercy of the Lord, considers himself to be drastically deceived. Okay, we'll see if this shloka gives us indication. This is complicated Sanskrit Guru Maharaj has set down. And, specific, it's amazing how it's done in specific meter with specific, dual words that bring out and, directly develop the meaning as they connect with the other words. Sanskrit is, someone who knows Sanskrit and who can, feel the reality within which Sanskrit actually lives, can, it's like painting a picture. It's a great art. They can just, produce unbelievable work. So in every sloka, Guru Maharaj has done that. And people who can understand Sanskrit and see Sanskrit are astounded. One time I gave Premadama Devameva a little booklet to a Sanskritist I met in South India, and he looked at it and then looked at me and said, "This is Alankar, something or other, Alankar slokas or something." And he was just astounded that the whole thing was together, all Alankar, all so beautiful, all so developed. I take it that this, a developed high Sanskrit scholar from South India knows something very deep about Sanskrit. He may not have come in contact with the higher realizations of Srila Guru Maharaj, but nonetheless he could see in the structure of the Sanskrit, and not only the structure of the Sanskrit, but the development of the word combinations which bring out and emphasize the particular meaning. Srila Guru Maharaj is just so expert. And I can see that a little bit with 3 years of Sanskrit, but I can hardly read it. Gora vata vatasraya tutsakrusta pala datvam atyodharya datvam cha vilokya tatrati lobadvad atmayati vanchitatva bodhaha. Srila Guru Maharaj. Then Sri Prabodhananda Saraswati. Deceived, no doubt, deceived I am. The whole universe became flooded with love of Sri Gauranga. But alas, my fate was not to get even the slightest touch of it. So, vanchito smi, na sangshayaha. Vanchito, I'm deceived. Vanchitatra, Guru Maharaj says. Visvam gora rase magnam sparsho pi mama na bhavet. Prabodhananda paranam. So, this is our condition. Deceived, how are we deceived? Deceived by the ephemeral play of the external energy. I don't know exactly what Prabodhananda Saraswati is referring to as far as his deception, but for us, the material energy deceives us, distracts us, and because of that distraction, we have lessened ability to see the substance of what Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu is giving to us. Sri Guru Gauranga Radha Giridhari Ju Ki Jai. Okay. Let's go with one more. This is number 20, and it's by Prataparudra.
King Prataparudra.
Prataparudra was the king of Udaipur. I don't know if that was him, but he was a Vaishnava. So, I don't know. He was a great fighter. I saw his, if this is him, I don't know, but I saw his armor in Udaipur many years ago, and it was like 7 feet tall. He was absolutely enormous, and his sword was like taller than me. It was, unbelievable to see this kind of, there was actually some kind of massive, fighter like a Maharati or something, but of course in this age, nothing like it. But he was feared by everyone and could fight so many of the enemy. But he was defeated by Jai Singh, who was allied with Akbar. And Prataparudra would not surrender to the Muslims, to their he wouldn't even allow them to oversee them like Jai Singh did. Jai Singh was able to maintain his kingdom and maintain his worship and everything by making arrangement with Akbar. But Akbar made him fight, and so he had to go and fight his brother Prataparudra. And Prataparudra's army was outnumbered like 5 to 1, and they were badly defeated. And in the end, one valiant soldier put on the armor of Prataparudra and stood in the battlefield and was killed, and Prataparudra himself escaped and went to the mountains, built up another army, and anyway, it's a whole story. Sorry. So hopefully this is the Pratapa Rudra, but that's the only Pratapa Rudra I know. But maybe somebody else. Okay, so Guru Maharaj's summary. The lament of one deeply aspiring for the service of Sri Gaura Hari in the apprehension of not attaining that service. Sri Gaura Seva Rasa Gridnu Janasya Tad Apraptya Aprakya Sankaya Kedakatihi. So the lament of one deeply aspiring for the service of Sri Gaura Hari in the apprehension of not attaining that service. Then Prataparudra says, he casts his merciful glance upon even low-born persons who are unfit to be seen. He will not grant me his audience. Has the Lord Chaitanya Dev made his advent deciding that he will give his grace to all but me? Prataparudra. Wait a minute, that wasn't the name of the king that was there at the time in Puri, was it, Didi? Do you remember?
Yes.
Oh, it's the same king. What? So I'm mixing it all up, sorry. So it's the king we know this, the king of the area of Odissi, Orissa, is saying this. Same name as, I forgot, same name as Prataparudra in Rajasthan. Well, so you got the story of Prataparudra in Rajasthan. Okay. So, beautiful shloka. Darshaniyam api nitya jatim sangvikshate hanta tatapi no mam mad eka varjam kripaya yastatiti minya kimso vartata devahu. So he's giving mercy to all the low-born persons, but he will not give his mercy to me. So Prataparudra is lamenting. As a king, Mahaprabhu won't see him, so he's feeling, totally left out and, in a very low, lost position. So the nature of the soul is like that. We're always in a position of incompleteness, and to come to terms with that is not easy because we've built our whole existence in this world attempting to put together some kind of illusory completeness, and there's it's a huge structure that we've built, and to take that down, we're I guess chopping at the foundation, or gradually trying to take apart our illusion. Okay, so the last one, Mahaprabhu says, the Lord is like a great blazing fire, and the living entities are like small sparks of the fire. And Prabhupada cited the Bhagavad Gita and so on to substantiate that, along with the Vedanta Sutra, that he is the reservoir of all pleasures, Anandamayo Bhasayat, from Vedanta Sutra. So text 117, Jiva Tattva Shakti Krishna Tattva Shaktiman, Gita Vishnu Puranadi Tahate Pramana. Okay, Pramana, they're evidences. The living entities are energies, not the energetic. The energetic is Krishna. This is vividly described in Bhagavad Gita, the Vishnu Purana, and other Vedic literatures. So Just quickly, there are 3 prasthanas. Prasthana in there? No. 3 prasthanas on the path of advancement in spiritual knowledge, namely Nyaya prasthana, Vedanta philosophy, Shruti prasthana, the Upanishads and Vedic mantras, and Smriti prasthana, the Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, and Puranas. So the Mayavadi philosophers do not accept Smriti prasthana, the Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, and so on. Prabhupada says if one believes in the Vedas, one should accept the Smriti of Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is quoting a passage from Bhagavad Gita, text 118. Besides the inferior nature, Almighty armed Arjuna, there is a superior energy of mind, which is all living entities who are struggling with material nature and are sustaining the universe. Apareyam itastranyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam daryate jagat. Mama maya duratyaya. The inferior energy is maya and it is mine. The jiva bhutas are those living entities connected with the external energy and struggling, but beyond them is the supreme cause. Janma dyasya jataha is the origin of all energies. Transcendental loving devotional service is the spiritual activity of the spirit soul. Mayavadi philosophers confuse such spiritual activity with material activity, but Bhagavad Gita confirms ma chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate na gunam samatityayitam brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in the spiritual activities of unalloyed devotional service, avyabhicharani bhakti, is immediately elevated to the transcendental platform and is to be considered Brahma Bhuta, which indicates he is no longer in the material world. Devotional service is enlightenment or awakening. Bahunam janmanam ante mam bahunam janmana ante jnanavan mam prapadyante. After many births struggling, the living being comes to the point of surrendering to the Supreme Lord. So the Mayavadi philosophers may appear to be advanced. They can sling so many shlokas, but they don't know about surrender to the Lord. So they're empty. Now this quotation comes from Vishnu Purana, text 119. Vishnu Shakti Para Prokta Chetragya Kya Tata Para Avidya Karma Samge Jnanaya Tritiya Shaktir Ishyate. The potency of Lord Vishnu is summarized in 3 categories. Namely, the spiritual potency, the living entities, and ignorance. Spiritual potency is full of knowledge. The living entities, although belonging to the spiritual potency, are subject to bewilderment. And the third energy, which is full of ignorance, is always visible in fruitive activities. So, spiritual potency, the living entities, and the illusory energy filled with ignorance. Those 3 things are at play in the understanding of our position in the material world. The kshetragya, avidya, which produces karma, fruit of activities. And Tritiya is Tritiya Shakti. The third Shakti is known as this ignorance. Whoa, massive purport. So Prabhupada goes on to describe how the whole thing is contained in Bhagavad Gita and described about the living beings' entanglement in the material universe, but at the same time how Krishna is overseeing it, but he's not touched by it. He comes down, millennium after millennium in his transcendental form, but he's never touched by the external energy. And earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Altogether, these 8 comprise my separated energies. Separated material energy bewilders the living entity, and thus they work very hard under its influence, not knowing that they are not fulfilling their mission in life. And Prabhupada quotes from Charvaka Muni. His theory was that as long as one lives, one should eat as much ghee as possible. In India, ghee is a basic ingredient in preparing many varieties of foodstuffs. Since everyone wants to enjoy food, Charvaka Muni advised that one eat as much ghee as possible. One may say, I have no money, how shall I purchase ghee? Charvaka Muni, however, says, if you have no money, then beg, borrow, or steal, but in some way secure ghee and enjoy life. So Charvaka Muni is, saying there's nothing behind anything, just enjoy. Gee, where have we heard that philosophy before? All these different philosophies that we're confronted with, they think they're new, they're cutting edge. We've just figured this out. This is the first time humanity has come to this point. But we find them all in pretty much in the 6 philosophies that Guru Maharaj often talks about. I forget them, beginning with Nyaya, but there's relativism, atomism, and Charvaka is some kind of empty notion. But finally, there's Sarvadharmam Parityagya Sharanam Braja. Just surrender to Krishna and So Prabhupada says, thus even the greatest atheist of India recommends that one eat ghee, not meat. No one could conceive of human beings eating meat like tigers and dogs, but men have become so degraded that they are just like animals and can no longer claim to have human civilization. Okay, next. 120. The Mayavada philosophy is so degraded that it has taken the insignificant living entities to be the Lord, the supreme truth, thus covering the glory and supremacy of the absolute truth with monism. Henu jiva tattva lana liki para tattva achana korila shrestha ishvara mahatva. Ishvara mahatva, the Lord's glories. They're achana, they're covering it by such degraded writings, liki. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur comments in this connection that in all Vedic scriptures, the Jiva Tattva, the truth of the living entities, is mentioned to be one of the energies of the Lord. If one does not accept the living entity to be a minute, infinitesimal spark of the Supreme, but equates Jiva Tattva with the Supreme Brahman of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it must be understood that his entire philosophy is based on misunderstanding. So then he goes on to say how Shankaracharya purposely brought this out to drive Buddhism from India and at least reestablish the Vedic teachings. But the Vedanta Sutra, Veda Anta, the end of the Vedas, the final discussion of the Vedas, confirms there is a supreme person, Janma Jasya Jataha, And all other manifestations are emanations from him. Prabhupada cites the Vishnu Purana and then cites how Mahaprabhu has come and given the Hare Krishna mantra to free everyone trapped in the material world. Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitam brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. So automatically the Hare Krishna mantra brings us to that, to the level of Brahman, the understanding of the nature of spirit, that all living beings are spirit, and not only that, the engagement in devotional service by the realization of Brahman, that is contained within the realization of the nature of that Brahman, that spirit. That's like the potency of devotional life in the Hare Krishna mantra. Not only do we realize Brahman, everything is spirit, but we realize the nature of that spirit. And the nature of that spirit, by higher grace, is manifest in, transcendental relations that bring about a beautiful form and a beautiful world called Goloka. And so Mahaprabhu is saying the Mayavadi philosophers have just covered the absolute truth, this beautiful perception, with empty monism. So next, 121. In his Vedanta Sutra, Sri Vyasadeva has described that everything is but a transformation of the energy of the Lord. Shankar Acharya, however, has misled the world by commenting that Vyasadeva was mistaken. Thus, he has raised great opposition to theism throughout the entire world. Vyasera sutreti kahe parinama vada. Vyasa branta bolitara utaila vivada. Utaila vivada raised opposition. They have Branta mistakenly, Bali accused him, misled the world, raised opposition to this Vyasera Sutrete, the codes of the sutras of Vyas. They've brought about a parinama, a transformation of the Vada, the philosophy. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains, in the Vedanta Sutra of Srila Vyasadeva, it is definitely stated that all cosmic manifestations result from the transformation of the various energies of the Lord. Shankaracharya, however, not accepting the energy of the Lord, thinks that the Lord, that it is the Lord who is transformed. He has taken many clear statements from the Vedic literature and twisted them to try to prove that if the Lord or the Absolute Truth were transformed, his oneness would be disturbed. Thus he has accused Srila Vyasadeva of being mistaken. In developing his philosophy of monism, therefore, he established Vivarta Vada, or the Mayavada theory of illusion. And Prabhupada goes on to chant from, quote from the Vedanta Sutra, specific slokas that bring out contradictions, along with the Chandogya Upanishad, which brings clear statements about the Lord's energies being transformed into the material energy and having a clear distinction between the Lord himself. So many slokas from Chandogya Upanishad, Tattariya Upanishad. All these things were researched in detail by generally, I think, Jiva Goswami. And there's so many quotes from Upanishads that overturn the the conclusions that are set down by Shankaracharya that are so deeply ingrained in the that aspect of the religious culture of India that has to do with monism and impersonalism. Shankaracharya maintains the cosmic manifestation is mithya, or false. This is a great blunder. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is a fact. How can His creation be false? Even in ordinary dealings, one cannot think the material cosmic manifestation to be false. Therefore, Vaishnava philosophers say that the cosmic manifestation is not false, but temporary. It is separated from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but since it is wonderfully created by the energy of the Lord, to say that it is false is actually blasphemous. Sripad Ramanujacharya refers to the Vedic sutra Atma va idam agra asit, which points out that the Supreme Atma, the Absolute Truth, existed before creation. Sripad Ramanujacharya quotes a mantra from Taittiriya Upanishad, which states that the entire cosmic manifestation emanates from the Absolute Truth. Sripad Ramanuja gives the example that when a green bird enters a green tree, it does not become one with the tree. It retains its identity as a bird, although it appears to merge in the greenness of the tree. To give another example, an animal that enters a forest keeps its individuality, although apparently the beast merges in the forest. Similarly, in material existence, both the material energy and the living entities of the marginal potency maintain their individuality. This is Ramanuja's theory of Vishishta Advaita. Although the energies of the Lord are one, each keeps his individuality, Vishishta. Shankaracharya tried to mislead the readers of Vedanta Sutra by misinterpreting the words Anandamayo Bhasayat. He has even tried to find fault with Vyasadeva. All the codes of Vedanta Sutra need not be examined here. However, since we intend to present the Vedanta Sutra in a separate volume, Prabhupada never did, Okay. One more. Text 122. According to Shankaracharya, by accepting the theory of transformation of the energy of the Lord, one creates an illusion by indirectly accepting that the Absolute Truth is transformed. Parinamavada Ishvarahayena Vikari Etakahi Vivarta Vada Stapana Ye Kordi. Okay, Parinamavada, theory of transformation of energy, saying this, Vivartavada, the theory of illusion, is established by indirectly accepting that the Absolute Truth is transformed. Bhaktivinoda Thakur comments that if one does not clearly understand the meaning of Parinamavada, or the transformation of energy, one is sure to misunderstand the truth regarding the material cosmic manifestation and the living entities. So, quoting from the Chandogya Upanishad to upset Shankaracharya's position, the example of misunderstanding a rope to be a snake is mentioned in the Mandukya Upanishad, but is meant to explain the error of identifying the body with the soul. Since the soul is actually a spiritual particle, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Mamavangso Jiva Loke, it is due to illusion, Vivartavada, that a human being like an animal, identifies the body with the self. It's the proper example of vivarta, or illusion. Jiva Goswami, in his Paramatma Sandarbha, comments regarding the Vivarta Vada as follows: accepting the body as the self. Under the spell of Vivartavada, one imagines the separate entities, namely the cosmic manifestation and living entities, to be one with Brahman. This is due to complete ignorance regarding the actual fact. The absolute truth, or para-Brahman, is always one and always the same. He is completely free from all other conceptions of existence. He is completely free from false ego, for he is the full spiritual identity. It is absolutely impossible for him to be subjected to ignorance and fall under the spell of misconception. Vivartavada. This is what they say, that, you know, the Supreme has come under the control of illusion, and all individual manifestations must be part of that illusion, all the way up to Vishnu and Krishna. He is never tainted in the slightest degree by the flaws of the ordinary living entities. Everyone must understand the absolute truth to possess inconceivable potencies. This is Jiva Goswami commenting on this verse, which says that Shankaracharya accepts the theory of transformation of the energy of the Lord and thereby creates an illusion by indirectly accepting that the Absolute is transformed. So the absolute oneness of Brahman somehow or other transforms into temporary forms, which you know, are the same energy, but is all an illusion, because individuality is impossible in oneness. It's a very kind of convoluted theory, but it's very much as Jiva Goswami indicates, it's very much connected with the illusion of the external energy, naturally driven by the natural false ego, ahankara, the final identification with the self as the Supreme, which drives the production of the temporary world. That ultimate, position is thinking that we're one with the Supreme. So that understanding is directly connected with the illusion. You know, like they say, it's the flip side of the material coin. Renouncing everything, and along with that renunciation, thinking, you know, unwilling to surrender, unwilling to accept one's position as, you know, as a servant, and very minute and very depleted. They think, I'm spirit, I am great, I am everything. And in that illusion, they, you know, they temporarily merge, but again fall down. So here Mahaprabhu is just presenting how the whole thing is a product of illusion, because they misunderstand the transformation of energies, thinking it is vivarta, or all an illusion. And Jiva Goswami has commented extensively to defeat this conception. Okay. So Mahaprabhu continues to emphasize this transformation of energy and the falseness of the bodily conception as the self. So he's tying in the whole idea of acceptance of the bodily conception as the self with the idea of, you know, ultimately one being Brahman himself. You know, it's all part of the temporary illusion. It's coming as a distorted product of that manifestation, as the living entities descend from that plane. So Mahaprabhu's tying it all together, showing the illusion of their thinking based on the falseness of the conception of the material body as a vehicle through which one can imitate the greatness of the Lord. And finally, through renunciation and withdrawing from the external energy, claiming it's an illusion and not real, then deciding what is the absolute truth. So the material world, according to Vaishnava philosophers, is real, but temporary. That's the problem. Everything is real, but it's all temporary. It's all a reflection. So the Vaishnavas see like that experiences in the world may be illusory, but they have a connection with reality. And to find out, to seek out and connect with that reality, that's the aim of the Vaishnava. To find, the reality behind the veil, and to see in the world around us the direct presence of the Supreme Lord. It gets very hazy, I think, when we try to imagine the position of the Uttama Adhikari and how he perceives the environment around him. Some say, well, it's all Goloka Vrindavan. And others say he perceives everything in the world as being connected with that Goloka Vrindavan. What do you know about that, Didi?
That's also something that I've contemplated. It's not so clear to me, because we do hear in the case of very high Mahabhagavats, like Ramsridas Babaji, he sees a train, he's thinking it's the Kaliya serpent, it's like literally he's seeing. But then we also hear the vision that the Vaishnavas, the high Vaishnavas, are seeing that everyone is serving the purpose of the Lord in some way. Mm-hmm. That's, there's the anti-group, they're actually highlighting the glory of the positive group. Everyone has their part to play from an absolute perspective.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess the whole thing may be both. That they see, they can see in both ways, depending on the nature of their service, something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we know Gaurkishore Babaji Maharaj being pelted with stones from the kids is telling Krishna he's going to tell his mother.
Yes.
Yeah. So who knows? But these are souls that are Uttama Adhikaris who have not descended to the the Madhyama plane for the purpose of preaching. So they see things differently.
Yes.
So I think we have to understand that we are on that plane and necessarily must see things in that way of distinction, while at the same time understanding what is the ideal vision and trying to incorporate that into our lives, but simultaneously maintain the understanding of our actual position, as we perceive it in the Madhyama stage. There are those people who are evil, and there are those people who are less evil but sinful, and those people who are innocent, and those people who are trying for development in spiritual life. We make distinctions based on the necessity of transcending the material world. Otherwise, like you said, everything is going on by Krishna's higher will, and there's no need to disturb it, because it will naturally happen by His will. And it may be the case, but nonetheless, there are souls that are within that vision that are functioning on a different level by Krishna's order to bring about a transformation, which is the hopefully the natural the natural product of Krishna's will. Some being transformed and leaving, and others who are engaged in temporary energies being diverted and kept away from the path of pure following of seeking our ideal. So I guess to see like that, the Krishna sadhana bhakti, and everybody, so many people in different positions, some valid and some questionable based on the vision of our gurus. Anyway, that's the end of Chaitanya Charitamrita for today. Continue tomorrow. Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Bhakti Rakha Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Srila Bhakti Nimalacharya Maharaj ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Vrinda ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. All the Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Jai Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namah.
Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namah.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namah.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namah.
Gopala Govinda Ram Srimad Sudana.
Gopala Govinda Ram Srimad Sudana.
Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohana.
Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohana.
Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra.
Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra.
Gadadhar Shivasari Gaurabhakta Vrinda.
Gadadhar Shivasari Gaurabhakta Vrinda.
Jai Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunatha.
Jai Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunatha.
Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunatha.
Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunatha.
Esai Gosai Kori Charana Vandana.
Esai Gosai Kori Charana Vandana.
Jaha Bhante Vijnana Savita Purana.
Jaha Bhante Vijnana Savita Purana.
Esai Gosai Jan Vikarajata.
Esai Gosai Jan Vikarajata.
Samsavara Pada Venu Moya Panchagrasa.
Samsavara Pada Venu Moya Panchagrasa.
Angyaratarana Devi Bhakta Sanivasa.
Angyaratarana Devi Bhakta Sanivasa.
Janame Janame Mora Eya Vivasa.
Janame Mora Eya Vivasa.
Isai Gosai Jabe Bhate Kodavasa.
Isai Gosai Jabe Bhate Kodavasa.
Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Kodila Prathaja.
Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Kodila Prathaja.
Anande Goro Hari Vaja Vrindavana.
Anande Goro Hari Vaja Vrindavana.
Guru Vaishnava Pade Majaya Mana.
Guru Vaishnava Pade Majaya Mana.
Guru Vaishnava Pade Majaya Mana. Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyata Hari Nama Sankirtan Kore Narottama Dasa Hari Nama Sankirtan Kore Narottama Dasa Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Jai Gaur Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gaur Hari Bo. Jai Gaur Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Jai Gaur Hari Bo. Jai Sripad Shri Guru Gauranga Radha Giridhari Ji Ki Jai. Jai Sripad Shri Bhakti Nirmala Acharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Sripad Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Sripad Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Sripad Shri Bhakti Rakha Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Sripad Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Samaveta Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai. Vishwavaranya Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mata ki jai. London Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mata ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mata Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samaveta Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hari Nama Sankirtan ki jai. Jai Gaur Premanandi Hari Bol. Jai Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Rantaraja Srimad Bhagavatam Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. The Vishnudas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj ki jai.